Hey guys, so it is very late in the day. It is 8:20 in the evening and I'm just now starting this vlog. It is still Monday, but I have not had any time to read today, unfortunately, so far, and I've had so many issues going on with videos. My vlog from last week posted really late today, and I had a lot of editing to catch up on because I didn't get time to really do it yesterday. I was able to edit my vlog yesterday, and that was about it. So I finally have everything edited, and I'm working on uploading my other two videos right now for this week. Podcast is done, Instagram picture is done, my thumbnails are all done, like I even have my TikTok videos done for the most part for this week. It's just been, I swear, one thing after the next. But today I need to finish Babel somehow, or I need to get through some of it because I was supposed to finish it yesterday and I didn't. I was supposed to get through more of the Way of Kings this week, and I'm going to be playing a lot of catch up on that one in terms of like meeting my reading goals. I should still be able to finish it by the end of this week, don't get me wrong, but it's probably going to be like a lot of audiobook listening over the next like several days. That's basically it, because by the end of this week I should then also be able to start the Sword of Kaigen, which is Brandy's book club pick for the membership book club, and I'm tired. Like, not like I'm gonna fall asleep, but like my brain has been kind of firing on all cylinders today, and tomorrow I have an interview, and then Wednesday I have another interview, but tomorrow's interview is one that I'm really nervous about, which I'm also kind of like still getting the nerves about because of the fact that it's for a really like kind of cool job that I really hope I get, and I have to be gone for like almost 3 hours tomorrow, which is not going to be great for me, my anxiety, because I'm gonna have to leave Oscar all by himself. We've been meaning to get him used to the idea of being in the house by himself, but this is going to be like the first real big test, because if he's been alone in the house, it's usually been for maximum like 10 minutes, and he's been fine. But this is the first time it's going to be for like more than that. So I'm really nervous. I don't even know how I'm going to do this because I have to leave by 12:30 at the latest to make sure I can get there on time. And I have to order an Uber beforehand, so I have to make sure that before noon I am dressed, I have my makeup done, that somehow I get him on a walk. I think I may take him on one before I get like fully dressed. Like, I'll have my makeup done and stuff when we go, but then I'll take him really quick for that before the Uber gets here. I'm gonna have to, that's gonna be what I need to do, and then somehow scarf down my lunch as well, because my interview's at 1, and they said it's gonna be about an hour and 45 minutes at least, and it's a panel interview, so this is like a really kind of big kind of interview kind of thing. So I'm very, very nervous. Wednesday I have another interview, but that is during my lunch period. The place is like 10 minutes down the road from me, like it's not that far. The other place isn't that far either, but the other place that I'm going to tomorrow definitely has more traffic involved because it's more near the Capitol building, which is like a big thing. And the other place is like just the other side of this part of my town right now, so I'm not too worried about that second one because it's a little bit more relaxed. This other one that I'm interviewing for, though, it's for like it's a pretty cushy job for the most part. Like, I probably will be working from the office, but it's close enough to where, like, provided I have the car, which I should if I'm going to be able to do this, but basically my thought is that I will be able to come over during my lunch hours and take care of Oscar, as well as eating my lunch at home. So that'll make it a lot easier for me because Robert doesn't have the ability to really drive all the way out here from work to take care of him. He just can't. It's just not something he's able to do with his job right now, because it's very much like mechanic based, and so like things need to be done in an orderly fashion, and then a lot of times he has to travel back and forth to pick up vans and stuff like that, and so like it's not feasible for him to be able to carve out 20-30 minutes, an hour for lunch, even to take care of Oscar. So it does rely on me to do that, which I'm fine with. I just have to make sure, though, that essentially if I get this job, I have to take him to work early in the morning, maybe come back if I have the time, and then get my stuff and go to work. But honestly, what I probably will end up doing is taking him to work and then going straight to the office if I get this job. I really hope I do, because it's a really good one. It sounds really interesting, and that like I would have a really good time with it. And it would be very challenging for me too, which is something I kind of need. I feel like I've been really stifled recently and like doing the same thing over and over and over again, and I would really like to do something different and do something that's going to be a little more challenging for me. But yeah, so I'm really nervous. I've got a lot of stuff going on this week. It's going to be a very, very crazy week for me, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to deal with it. It's going to be fine. You know, I'm going to be all right. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my laptop into the bedroom, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of reading sprint and getting through more of Babel, because I have like a little over 100 pages left of that. I just want to be able to read. I need to like do something while my videos finish uploading and stuff. So I don't know. I need to do something to take my mind off of all of this. So yeah, but I will talk to all you guys tomorrow, probably with some kind of an update in the morning, with if I finish Babel. Hold on, I gotta send a picture to your dad. Oh, good lord. No, oh, come. Literally, as soon as I go to get the camera on him, he hops out of the tub. You, mister, are a goofy little booger. What? Mama is doing her face. Why are you so wrong about that? I got an interview today. I got a very big interview today. So that I can get it's one where I can get more money to get you more food and more treats. Okay, I don't know how much of the fit you can see, but this is it. Makeup's done, jewelry's on, got my purse all ready. I just need to grab my notebook, which is sitting right here, that has my questions for my interviewer. I am really nervous about this one, because this is the one that out of everything I've applied for so far, and that I've also got interviews with, this is kind of like a real good one. I wouldn't say this is the big one per se, but it's a real big deal. I have my Uber coming. They're going to be here in like 5, 6, maybe max 10 minutes. I'm really nervous. Really, really nervous, but I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going to take some tissues with me because my nose is starting to run because it's been running all day, and naturally when I put makeup on, it wants to run even more. Last night, I did read more of Babel. I didn't get to the end of it, but I got to like page 500, so I think I read like maybe 50 some pages, something like that. I don't quite remember, but I have my iPad with me for if I have to wait, so I can read a little bit while I'm waiting in the lobby. I'm gonna trim my nails real quick before I go, just because a lot of them are broken, and I'd like for them to at least look a little bit nice, especially since I don't have nail polish on. Oscar's gonna have to be here by himself. He's already gone for his WALK, and he went potty. Drink some water so that he has something to drink while I'm gone, and he has food. I should only be gone for a couple of hours, but it's gonna be the first time he's gonna be alone in the house by himself, which I'm also nervous about, but it'll be okay. We will get through it, and wish me luck. Hope I'm in frame. Food acquired after interview. So that went so much better than I had hoped. I'm not gonna know about that particular position until the middle of next week. So I have to wait a whole freaking week. It's fine. I'm fine. We're gonna be okay. It felt really good. Like, that was probably the best I felt going out of an interview in a long time. And mind you, this position I have interviewed for is practically a government position. I don't want to give details because I don't think that it's appropriate for me to do so. But this position would allow me to be salary, for one. Be at a salary rate that is over $10,000 more than what I make hourly every year. So that's a huge boost for me personally. And that's starting. That's like the lowest that they are in their range. Position that then also is a brand new position, meaning that they haven't really figured out what they want this position to be. So I am going to be learning with them what exactly it is I will be able to handle, and basically building out the roadmap for what the daily duties of the position will end up becoming in the future for when they end up having to, you know, rehire or whatever. Which, that's a huge deal. That is a huge deal. And it comes with amazing benefits and a retirement plan. I am hoping and praying that this comes through. Even if it doesn't, the interview I go to tomorrow is a huge step up, regardless. But I'm really hoping that this pans out, that I made a good enough impression that they would want me to be in this position. So please keep your fingers crossed for me, because by the time this video goes out, I still will not know what's going on with that. So please keep your fingers crossed for me for either position. Tomorrow I have another interview. It is during my lunch break, and it's for a receptionist position basically, but it is paying way more than what I make now. I'm a little nervous about the fact that this place may try to offer me a job either on the spot or may offer it earlier than this other place I just went to today. And I'm a little afraid of the fact that I don't want to necessarily say yes to this place I'm going to tomorrow if they end up giving me a job offer much earlier. But I also don't want to burn that bridge and find out that I don't get the position for the place that I really want. I feel confident that I expressed myself as I am, that I stayed true to myself with all my answers for the interview. And I feel confident that I at least made a good impression on the panel that I was interviewing for. But I also know that this position is probably something where it's a little bit more competitive. And so I'm prepared for the fact that I will be rejected. Is it gonna hurt? Hell yeah. I'm feeling very grateful right now for my guides, because I feel like they've put this in my path for a reason, and I'm grateful that my resume was also exceptional to them, that they were interested in even reaching out to me in the first place and then also scheduling the interview. I'm grateful for the fact that my career experience thus far has helped me get to where I am today. I'm grateful for my family, who has been incredibly supportive. I'm grateful for my friends who have been here with me, that have reached out to me since my last vlog, and also that have sent all kinds of good and positive vibes for me. I'm very grateful for all of you who are watching, because you help me understand that I am not alone when I feel these anxieties, when I feel these feelings. And I am also grateful for myself. I am grateful that I have pushed myself to where I want to be. That I have worked hard at trying to find a new job, because it has given me at least the opportunity to showcase who I am to other people. And I genuinely hope that they see me as I am and they are willing to work with me, and that they can see me as both a sponge to soak up information, but also as a mold. I hope that they recognize that I am willing to work on this with them. I am also very grateful for the other interview that I have tomorrow, because even if this one I went to today doesn't work out, I'm going to be very grateful for the fact that there is something better out there for me than what I have right now. I'm going to go get changed, at least into comfy clothes. Might hold on to the makeup for a little bit longer, at least until after I eat. Because I hate trying to eat after cleansing my face with makeup remover stuff. It's like, what? I think tonight is going to be a nice night for me to just chill out and relax, finish Babel, and get through more of The Way of Kings. I did a lot today. I'm proud of myself. I deserve a good night. Hey guys, so it is 6:15 in the evening, and I have just finished Babel by R.F. Kuang. I sat here for the last, probably 45 minutes and finished, the last 45 pages I had of it. And I don't quite know what I want to rate this, because I really like it. I really feel like this was exactly what I was looking for when it came to this book that I've been anticipating for literal years from Rebecca. I feel like I've been waiting for this since before the Dragon Republic came out with the Poppy War, because I know that Rebecca was working on this in that time. And I really enjoyed it. It hit all the things that I was hoping it was going to, about things like colonization and really setting itself up in the Victorian era, a lot of the Oxford stuff that I was expecting in terms of the vibe of the school, the dark academia-esque things I was hoping for. But there's something that I feel like is going to be a big thing. It's not an issue for me, but I know it's going to be something that other people are going to find really frustrating with this, is all of the language rhetoric that I had talked about in my last vlog. And I feel like that is kind of the point, though, of it, because you have to learn some things about language in order to learn about how the bars work, the silver bars. But I can see how like that would get really, really annoying for a lot of people. I enjoyed it immensely, but I know that that's going to be a big point of contention for a lot of people. And I think that at some points it did get very slow. The very end wasn't exactly as heartbreaking as I had wanted it to be, because I think that, you know, several chapters beforehand, there was an entire part that I sobbed at already, so I kind of had already got my tears out, I guess, by the end of it. But it was really enjoyable. It was fun. Like, I feel like this was hitting everything I had wanted, but I still don't know for certain if I want to give it a 5-star. I don't know why. I feel like something still was kind of missing. I guess maybe one of the things about it is that the ending, for me personally, I wanted to see a happy ending, but we really didn't get that, which I know to expect with fucking Rebecca's writing, because the Poppy War was the exact same freaking way, where you wanted there to be a happy ending and everybody gets fucked, to put it lightly. So I knew that was going to happen. But I guess I'm still disappointed that I didn't get a happy ending, and maybe that's just because, you know, I'm just constantly feeling like I need happy endings to make me feel better. That's not like a knock on the book, it's not a knock on her writing by any means. I think that's just like being very nitpicky and like at the same time though talking about the things I was kind of hoping for, things that I was looking for with this. Like, I knew in the back of my mind I wasn't going to get a happy ending, but I still wanted that. Like, I still wanted that for myself, and I still just got disappointed. What's new? But I don't know. I think I'm going to have to sit on this one for a little bit in terms of a rating, because I just don't know whether or not I want to give it that 5-star, or if there was something about it that would make me feel more comfortable giving it a 4-star. But it's at least a 4-star, I can tell you that much for certain. Like, there is no way this book is getting lower than a 4-star from me. I just don't know if I can 100% give it that 5th one. So I'm going to come back to rating this later, just because I want to give myself a little bit of time to ruminate on it. But what I'm going to do right now is hop over into The Way of Kings, because I'm very behind on my reading schedule already for this. I'm still currently on chapter 15, which is page 235 of my Kindle version. And I'm going to be listening to the audiobook as well, so I'm going to read along with this, and hopefully I can get through a good chunk of this. I have no idea what my reading goal was supposed to be for today, but I'm hoping that by starting it now, tonight, and kind of just focusing on that, since it's, you know, it was nice and stormy earlier, now it's kind of settled down, but now it's kind of getting to the evening and it's time to unwind, I can get through more of this, and then maybe tomorrow get myself caught up. I have no idea. It's going to depend on how much time I can listen to the audiobook, because I do have the second interview tomorrow during my lunch hour, and that I should be home still within my lunch hour, for me to like eat and take care of Oscar and everything, and not have to worry about taking off more time from work. Yeah, so I think that I'm just going to kind of chill here and get some reading done and just kind of relax, and I'll let you guys know what I start thinking more of The Way of Kings and kind of where I get through it with it. I think The Way of Kings I'm supposed to have finished by Saturday and then pick up another book by that point, so I've still got some time to work through it and get myself caught up, but let's see kind of how much I can get through it tonight, and then hopefully get through more of it tomorrow and get myself caught up. Alright, let's hope I'm in frame again. Seemed to work the last time, but welcome again to the bathroom. I am preparing for interview number 2 of this week, which is a little bit more of a low-key kind of job. I think I talked about it yesterday, where it's kind of more of a receptionist kind of job for a financial investment firm of some kind. Anyway, they basically are like 10 minutes down like the road, like it's really close by.
and it's at noon. During my lunch hour, I'm going to be over there doing my interview. They said it's going to be super quick. I have a distinct feeling that this place is going to probably either offer me a job on the spot, or it's not going to be very long before I hear from them, which is not opportune. I think I also talked about that yesterday, where I don't know right now if I should go with these guys if they offer me a job. Honestly, I would rather go with the place that I went to yesterday for an interview, because it's kind of like a higher up kind of job. Like, we're talking kind of working for the state. And it would be really nice to have that one, because it's got a lot of great things involved in it. And it's also, like I said before, a brand new position. Like, they don't really know what they exactly want out of this position. And so, like, I would be working partially to figure out what this position would entail for when they decide to, like, rehire. Like, if I get promoted, or if I end up leaving there for whatever reason, which I don't know if I really would, if this is, like, a really good job. Like, I don't think I would really pass up this opportunity if it was offered to me and give it up, unless, like, I was moving states kind of thing, you know, like, I don't think that that would be possible. But this place I'm going to today, I also don't think is going to be paying the same amount as what I would be getting starting with this more state-based job. So I don't know. Like, and here's the thing too, is again, I don't know if the place I interviewed for yesterday, if they're going to offer me a job, and I'm not going to hear from them for probably now almost a week from today. They said I was going to hear from them by middle of next week. So I don't know what that means, and if this place that I'm going to today tries to offer me a job on the spot, I don't know how I'm going to respond, because I don't even know if I'm going to get a job at this other place. And so I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket and, you know, screw myself over with the fact that, like, if I don't get the job with the state, you know, then I have to go back on the job hunt again if I'm going to find a new place to work. So I think I'm at the very least maybe going to tell them that I am, you know, looking at other places as well for jobs. I just had another interview, like, I had an interview yesterday, and, like, I'm not going to hear from them for, like, a week, and so I don't want to make any rash decisions, especially if they're offering me the job on the spot. Like, that's not really cool, to, like, put that amount of pressure on me, like, right then. I also have, like, a lot of questions that I go into these interviews with in terms of the kind of environment that I'm getting myself into. Like, is it going to be something that's going to be worth my time? Am I going to be treated with, you know, some modicum of respect? You know, stuff like that. And, like, how is it that they, you know, what they can tell me of how do they handle certain situations? How do they handle people who have mental health issues, things like that? Because those things are very important to me. And then on top of it, how do they handle conflicts? Like, do they handle, you know, situations where people are yelling and screaming at each other? Like, how do they do that? And who I went to yesterday, they answered every single question in a way that made me feel very, very comfortable. Because, like, they don't necessarily handle, like, by itself a lot of issues, because they don't have a lot of issues. But when they do, like, they give each other, like, the tools and the resources that are needed to handle those conflicts appropriately, whether it's the person that is the aggressor or the person that is kind of like a victim of some kind. But thankfully, this job is, like, they set it up where they specifically want people to thrive. They want us to thrive because of the fact that, like, it's a pretty important job, and they work with people that are super important and, like, that have massive needs, you know, at the same time. And so, like, I don't know, just everything that they answered, every question they answered was, like, really amazing. It was the best answers I'd gotten so far from places I've been interviewing at, in terms of, like, you know, giving me honest answers or not really trying to avoid the questions. Like, they were willing and ready to answer those kinds of questions, which makes me feel very comfortable. So I have a feeling, too, that this place I'm going to today is not going to kind of have that vibe. It's going to be probably very much like the place I went to last week, where it was kind of odd. It will be a step up, though, if I don't have to do everything from the lobby, because the place I went to last week, they did not even put me in, like, any kind of an interview room. It was the guy at the front desk literally not even interviewing me, just like telling me what the role is and telling me what my responsibilities would be. And it ended up being a part-time only job. And so like I definitely like leaving that one was uncomfortable and was very easily going to be like, no, especially because it was going to be part-time. Like that was just the one thing. But the pure fact that this kid who was at the front desk didn't have all the information and he was about my age and was working part-time, you know, like there were some red flags that for personally me looking for a specific kind of job was getting. But yesterday, green flags all around. Like, amazing. Paneled discussion, paneled interview. Got to talking with the receptionist that was up there, and he was a giant nerd, so we sat together and we, you know, before my interview sat and just nerded out about a bunch of stuff that we ended up enjoying. Like, he's a big Star Wars fan and anime fan and Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who, like he's into all of it. And so like it was very easy to connect with somebody very quickly. And the ladies that I met with yesterday for my interview were also incredibly nice. And they made me feel very comfortable about this interview, like just very comfortable in general. I didn't feel like I was being like intimidated or like it was uncomfortable. Like everything just felt great at this place I went to yesterday. So you can see why I really want to maybe work with these people if they would allow me to. So I am hopeful that the place I went to yesterday, like the interview by itself that I did felt great. Like I felt like I represented myself well. I felt like I answered very well to their questions. I felt like I just did the best I absolutely could. And that has not happened in an interview in a long time. I have not felt that way since, honestly, I got the job that I currently have. I don't know how many people interviewed for that position. I don't know how much they want somebody that's more involved in political stuff, because like I said, it's kind of working for the state. So I don't know if they want somebody who's a little bit more in like political science of any kind. It didn't seem like that was the case, to be honest. Like this is kind of more of like partially an office manager and receptionist, partially like a position where like you are helping create like events and stuff like that and promoting events that are going on. Like that's kind of more of the job, which is kind of more of like a PR or public affairs kind of thing, which I'm already kind of involved in with my current job. So I think that it's possible I would have the right qualifications for that. And I also had been told that it's a lot of creativity. It's a lot of like having to create things and like essentially with the job being like brand new and them having no idea what exactly this particular position will entail in the future, like it does allow a lot of room for creativity and a lot of room for experimentation, which I really appreciate. Like this is the best way I think I could get myself involved in this kind of a role, is because like I would have a lot of room to grow, and I would have a lot of room to really figure out what it is that is necessary for this position. And then like I said, if it ends up being that like I get promoted or I end up, you know, moving away and having to quit my job for whatever reason, that like I could be comfortable with quitting, it would be really helpful to know that like I did something worthwhile and really made a big difference. To update you guys, I did end up making a decision about my rating for Babel by R.F. Kuang, and I'm sure most of you could guess, but I did end up giving it a 5 out of 5 star because at the end of the day, I cried, I got excited throughout the entire book, and while there were points where like it was very heavy on the language rhetoric, it was so interesting to me. Like I was enthralled by the process of the silver bars and how those work and the rhetoric that goes into translation work. I never really been that interested in translation work before, but this book made it so fascinating to me that like I couldn't not get involved with it. I had to like keep going with it because I was so invested in that. So I ended up giving it that 5 out of 5 stars because I think it definitely had deserved it. And the only reason I was hung up on it was because of the massive amounts of the language rhetoric. But honestly, I found so much enjoyment out of that I found that it just made more sense for me to give it that 5 star because I actually really enjoyed it. Whereas I know a lot of people are probably going to give this like a 4 or a 3 star because they don't relate to the language rhetoric, they don't understand it, it's a little confusing for some people, that kind of thing. But I enjoyed the hell out of it. All right, I gotta go take Oscar out really quick, so I'm gonna come back here in a second and we're gonna then talk about the Way of Kings. Okay, hopefully, okay. Switched up the angle a little bit because I had to rush to get more stuff done, but makeup's done, which is good. Kind of the same idea I did yesterday with like a golden eyeshadow. And I need to finish getting ready, and I have to take Oscar more likely on a WALK because I'm not going to be able to when I get home, and he always goes on one in the afternoon during my lunch. So I'm thankfully not going to be gone for too long, but long enough that I need to make sure he goes potty because he also hasn't gone at all this morning. He is very weird about going potty in the mornings. It's usually not until the afternoon he decides that he wants to because he hates the morning dew. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Way of Kings now. So I did only read one chapter of that last night after I had finished Babel, and I like it. I like the ideas that are going with it. We have basically 3 main perspectives and like little ones here and there. The 2 main ones that I've really gotten to see so far are Shallan and Kaladin from the very first part of the book, which in the synopsis you learn that Kaladin basically turned his medical apprenticeship, which you learn about in the book, away so that he could become a soldier, and turned out to be really, really good at it. But then eventually he was captured and he became basically a slave for a kingdom, one of the kingdoms in this world that basically is fighting with this other area, and there's like a little bit of a kind of racism almost in this. There are people who are light eyes and there are people who are dark eyes. You learn just a lot about the inner workings of this kingdom as he becomes like a bridgeman of sorts. Basically, he is like the front line of this fighting force, and the person that runs that is not really well liked by another character that we learn about later named Dalinar. But then you have Shallan in the first part of the story, we learn from the synopsis, goes to study under this woman who she's actually trying to steal from because of the fact that her family is looking to gain some sort of power. And then in the second part that I'm kind of in right now, there's this other character named Dalinar who, in the prologue of the story, we learned that this character, Zeth, had killed this man named Galinar, which was Dalinar's brother, and had left written in blood this message for Dalinar saying that he needed to do something. Like, it basically was in reference to this text that's called the Way of Kings that we learn about through Dalinar. And Dalinar is now the ruler of Galinar's kingdom, and he is trying to essentially figure out some of the inner workings of what's going on with Sadeas, who's another ruler, and also the overall king, who is his nephew, Elhokar. And Elhokar's kind of aloof. He's trying to, like, fill in his father's shoes, but is not doing very well at it. Then you also have Aladin, who is Dalinar's son, who is also trying to see how things are playing out. Like, there's a lot of different things involved in this, and I don't quite understand all of it, but essentially there is some kind of, like, impending fight, impending war, that you have multiple people on different sides that are kind of witnessing happen. It's a little confusing, I will say. I feel like I'm not fully grasping all of the nuances within this. I don't know, it's something about it is just really hard to, like, put all together. The most I can really tell you about is Shallan. Shallan's story is like the most straightforward thing that I've found thus far. Kaladin's story, I don't really feel like I understand much about what it is like that he's doing. And then, like I said, Dalinar and Aladin, I have no idea like really what their whole point is, but I'm still fairly new into the second part of the story, so like I'm sure that's all gonna get figured out soon. But for right now, I need to go take Oscar on his walk so that I can make sure that that's taken care of, and then get my Uber situated and head off to my second interview. So I'll talk to all you guys when I return. Okay, so it is just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, going on like 1:15 I think. I have returned home and I'm changed in more comfy clothes and waiting for my lunch to finish up. That was a really interesting interview. They didn't exactly offer me the job on the spot, like I thought they might have, but they acted as if, like, I don't know if they're gonna do this with every person they interview, but they basically just sat and told me everything about the position that I would need to know in terms of how intense it can be, training-wise, because it's for an investment firm receptionist position. But the receptionist position also kind of, in my particular case, the way that they want to hire is that they want to hire for somebody that would be at first more of a receptionist and then transfer into more of a personal assistant kind of position, and then having another person as a receptionist that does more of the day-to-day things. And it sounds really interesting. Like, overall, it's not too far removed from what I'm doing now. It does have some things about it that I would definitely need some training on. Like, I know next to nothing about the different types of, like, 401ks and IRAs and all that stuff. So I would definitely have a lot of training to do. But in terms of, like, handling customers, handling clients, that kind of thing, like, that's kind of stuff I do already. Like, it's not too far out of my wheelhouse, and it's not something that I would be uncomfortable doing, I guess, if that makes sense. But again, they did the interview, not even so much as an interview, it was more of like, here's the job, here's everything you're gonna need to know, basically, that you'll learn in training. They really only asked me, like, one question about my qualifications, which was mostly about, like, what I currently do. And that was basically it. Then they were like, all right, see you, bye. We will talk to you sometime either Tuesday or Wednesday, but not before. So thankfully, though, I will hopefully hear from them around the same time as I would the place I went to yesterday, which makes things a lot easier because if I get an offer from both, I can really kind of sit down and figure out what I want to do. And even if I don't get an offer from the place I went to yesterday, and I get an offer from this place I just went to today, you know, it'll all work out, you know. I wouldn't necessarily be uncomfortable working for this place, but it definitely, like, the guy that is kind of like the boss, he's no bullshit. Like, he very much had that kind of demeanor where he's not gonna fuck around. He's gonna be kind about the fact that I'm gonna, like, you know, need training on it, but he's very much a person where, like, he knows what he wants, he knows what he needs, and he's not going to settle, you know, kind of thing. Like, that's kind of the vibe I got from this guy, which isn't bad. But I do think that, like, if it came to it, if I was having an issue with, like, a client or a customer or whatever, or, like, they're talking about how they'll have sometimes the back office, like, send something and something gets lost in the mail or whatever, he basically said that there's a lot of things that, like, if especially I follow up on stuff, like, when the process is being done, and, like, it's somebody else's fault, like, he's gonna back me up, basically, on it. Like, he basically made it seem like he is one of those bosses where he's not gonna just blame you for everything because he understands that you have just as little control over some things as he does. Which, that's cool. Like, I didn't get a bad vibe from this place by any means. I definitely got a better vibe than I did the first place I interviewed with last week. But I definitely feel that if I was given the choice between the two, I definitely would be going with the place I went to yesterday as opposed to the one I did today. Because of the fact that I do think that the place I went to yesterday will be paying me more, and also it's a role where I would have a lot more creative freedom and I would have a lot more experimentation than I think I would at the place I went to today. However, again, if the place I went to today gives me an offer and the other place doesn't, this would be something I would be comfortable with, which is good. It definitely will be paying more than what I make now, but it's kind of one of those things where, like, the better I prove myself to them, according to what they said, it's merit-based, where, like, the more I show myself as valuable to them, the more valuable I then will become to them. So, like, I also don't know how I feel about that because them seeing my value is different than me seeing my value. So I don't want it to then also run into this issue of where I am now. So, I don't know. We will see. Can't, you know, do anything about it right now because I have to wait till next week from either place to hear about. But if neither of these places works out, then it'll be back to the job hunt for me, which is fine. It's whatever. It's not ideal, but I will make it happen. So, for the rest of the day, I am going to be back to getting to work tomorrow, and Friday I'm going to be up early because I was going to get up early this morning, but I did not feel good. I did not sleep very well last night at all, and so I think that I'm just going to hold off on making up my hours until tomorrow, because I'm going to have to. If I want to have 40 hours by the end of this week, I have to get up early tomorrow and work from 7 to 5. And thankfully, I don't have anything else going on this week interview-wise, so I don't have to worry about taking any more time away, which makes me feel a lot better. But I'm going to eat my lunch now, and after that, take my makeup off, and then we will just get on with the rest of the day. So according to some math that I had to do with page counts for like every day, I have to be at about page 749. And I'm currently still, I think, 260 something. So I have no idea if I'm going to get to that by the end of the day. I think I might get close to that, but I highly doubt I'm going to get to that point at all, because I'm on page 261 right now. So I still have like, just under 500 pages to read. That's not going to be possible for me tonight, but I could probably get myself fully caught up tomorrow, which would be much more ideal. So anyway, I'm going to go continue with the rest of my day, and I will speak to all you guys when I have an update on The Way of Kings. Hey guys, so it's going on 11:30 in the morning on Friday. I haven't filmed in the last couple of days because, for one, I didn't really do any reading, and two, it's been a really, really bad week, mentally, or at least the last couple of days were. And I don't want to get into it necessarily about what happened. Anyway, that's mental health for you, you know. When it's down, it's really bad. But I'm doing better today. It's been, so far, a pretty long morning. I'm coming up on my lunch here in about half an hour. I've been up since about 7 a.m. this morning because I had to start work early today and yesterday because I was gone for a couple of hours on Tuesday for my first interview. Today is the first day of the Pandora's Box Greek Godathon mini readathon, and I'm very behind on my reading. Obviously. I did listen to one chapter so far today of The Way of Kings, and it was a flashback scene. I think I'm still like under 300 pages into the book. I don't have my Kindle on me right now. I just listened to the audiobook earlier. Either way though, I'm gonna still obviously work on The Way of Kings and try to get through Sword of Kaigen as well. Sword of Kaigen is the book club pick for Brandy's membership book club from Books with Brandy Shanae. I am really excited to read this. I've been meaning to read this for a while, and I've heard really good things about it. It's another high fantasy. I don't know 100% if it's a standalone. It came out, like, I want to say, like, 2020, maybe early 2021, something along those lines. And when I first heard about it, everyone was saying that it was really cool, how it was very much a mother getting revenge kind of story, where like you have one of the main characters is a mom who has to abandon her family to go fight to some extent, and I got really excited about hearing about that because it is not very often you hear about a mother having to go do things like that. So if that's the case, I'm all for it. Like, I'm super excited. But I do still, like I said, have to get through The Way of Kings. I do need to finish that because it is the reading group pick for the Brandon Sanderson read-along. And I would like to finish it by the end of the month because it is also now being a part of Bookoplothon. But technically this vlog and next week's vlog will be kind of playing double duty of being for the Pandora's Box Greek Godathon and also, you know, keeping up with Bookoplothon because I, you know, still have a Bookoplothon book to read. Greek Godathon, though, goes from today to the end of the month. The full week is the last full 7 days of the month of September, which is very nice. It's a nice way to round out the entire readathon. And the idea is that you have to basically complete 3 main prompts. Sword of Kaigen is actually completing 2 of the 3 prompts I need to, you know, 100% complete. There are 2 additional prompts that you don't necessarily have to do, but would be really cool if you did, and it's all surrounding around the story of Pandora's Box, which, if you're not familiar, is a Greek story about a young woman who has this box that she's told never to open because it basically would bring a lot of chaos and destruction to the world. And what does she end up doing? She ends up opening the box, and
has to figure out basically what to do from there, whether she can stop it or kind of let chaos reign, essentially. And so the prompts are basically set up where it's part of telling the story. Let me get my reading journal opened up so I can tell you exactly what everything is going to be. You have to do them in chronological order, basically. For Beauty of the Box, that is to read a book with a beautiful cover or title, and The Sword of Kaigen, I love all of the colors that are involved in this. I am a sucker for dark blues and whites, basically, when it comes to a cover, especially if it's kind of got that, like, very fantastical kind of vibe to it. I'm just a huge sucker for that. And then it also is completing the prompt of Turn the Key, which is a book that either is in a new world to you or is some kind of a portal fantasy. And to me, this is a brand new world. It's a brand new series for me. I don't know what kind of a world it's going to be in, but it's going to be brand new, so that worked out as well. I do have 3 other books I am planning on reading for this, one of which completes that final prompt of the required ones for the readathon, which is Unleash Its Evil, which is to read a book that either has a villain origin story or has a very large villain in the story. And for that, I decided to pick up Descender Volume 4 by Dustin Nguyen and Jeff Lemire because of the fact that the large villain that is playing in this story is essentially an entire AI resistance. We learn a lot about that in the earlier volumes of the story, and they basically are the ones that are kind of running the show. They are the reason why a lot of the bad things that happen in this series happen. So it worked out well, and also it's, again, you know, it's a graphic novel, it's really short, and after especially reading through The Way of Kings and Sword of Kaigen, I probably would like a nice little kind of palate cleanser, which a graphic novel usually does. And I've been loving reading this series recently, so I'm kind of wanting to find excuses to keep reading it as I go. And then the 2 additional prompts are basically like you can pick one or the other, or you can do both, but they're both kind of different endings in terms of the story of Pandora's Box. The first one being Redemption, which is to read a TBR vet. Now, I did pick one of my most anticipated 2022 releases for this because technically this has been a TBR vet. It's been on my TBR for pretty much like the last year almost. So that is The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. It, like I said, is part of my anticipated 2022 releases, and the second book is coming out, I do believe, in October. And then the final prompt that you can additionally do is Surrender, basically the other ending of the story of Pandora's Box, which is to read a book outside of your comfort zone. Now for this, I think the thing that is most out of my comfort zone is nonfiction. And nonfiction about race theory, and the only reason it is out of my comfort zone is because I don't read it as often as I think I should. So it is something I am fascinated by. It is something I do love reading when I get the chance to read it and I find a reason to read it. I just don't think I pick it up as often as I probably should. So for that, I'm going to read a book that I've been meaning to read since basically 2020 when the George Floyd murder had happened, and I had been hearing a lot of people talk about it as far as a really good race theory book to get into, which is White Rage by Carol Anderson, The Unspoken Truth of Our Racial Divide. This basically goes from the end of the Civil War all throughout, history, basically up into Donald Trump's election, talking about the problems of white rage and how that has affected African American communities. Those 4 books are what I'm going to be reading for the Mini Greek Godathon. I am going to get some stuff figured out here real quick. I got to send somebody some information here before my lunch break, and I think that I'm going to sit here and watch some YouTube videos and basically just kind of alternate between that and reading. I don't know if Brandy is hosting sprints tonight, and if she is, I'm going to participate in that. But I'm very excited because I'm going to go see my sister tomorrow. I am driving out by myself for the first time to go see my sister, and we're going to go hang out, and she's also going to participate in sprints with me tomorrow. She might not be on camera, but she is going to be doing sprints with me, and I'm very excited because I wanted to still do sprints even though I was going to go hang out with her and stay the night at her place. But I get to go do something fun like that with my sissy, and I'm very excited because I miss my sister. And anyway, I'm going to head out for right now, and I'll let you guys know what I can start getting through later today. morning, everybody. It is Saturday. It is now 11:09 in the morning. I've been up for a couple of hours, been getting a little bit of chores and stuff done around the house before I head off to my sister's and even just get ready to go to my sister's and do filming. Robert is out for an interview today. His interview started actually about 9 minutes ago at 11. So hopefully he'll be home soon from that. He had to drive about 10-15 minutes away for it, so it's not too far, thankfully. But last night I joined in on Brandy from Books with Brandy Shanae Sprints, and I actually did a lot of reading. But started about page 295 yesterday when I got started with sprints, and it was about 5 hours, and then I spent and talked with Brandy and Bree and Adrian for like a hot minute. But I ended up getting to page 413, so I read over 100 pages. I think I read like 118 pages total during sprints, which that is the most I have read in a hot second. So in like a single day for like the last like maybe week. But yeah, so I'm getting to where I am liking this. There's a lot more things that are coming up. Essentially, like the first 300 pages are a lot of building up of the world, building up of the characters. And there are certain characters where I do see like where the threads are going, where the threads are going to start connecting per se. And I feel like, especially right now with one of our characters, Dalinar, and his son Adolin, we are really starting to see at this point in the book, over 400 pages in, what their whole plot is, which a lot of it is that Dalinar is seeing these visions and he doesn't know if they are visions from the Radiants, who are like the people who used to rule this kingdom thousands of years before. They were the part of the prelude to the story, or if it's him going mad. And his son Adolin, who is like probably about mid-20s-ish, believes his father is going mad. I feel though that the pacing of this is really difficult to like determine, because naturally the first 300 pages are like super duper slow, because especially in a book where the scale of it is large, there's so much that has to be brought up. There's so much that has to be delved into to understand each of the individual characters and their backgrounds. And so it feels like for the first 300 to 400 pages, there's not really much of a plot. But the further on you learn about these characters, you do see the ties in which they are connected. And you understand at the very least that the plot is more based on the characters and the world as opposed to like a specific problem, and it's all placed on top of the underlying story of the war that is happening and coming up, because of the fact there at the very beginning we learned that the king of Alethi was murdered supposedly by another kingdom. That's the theory. There's a lot of things basically that you have to be willing to sift through in this, which I understand is very annoying for some people. I know that this is probably one of the hardest books of Sanderson's to get through, because not only of the length, but the amount of things that you have to like take into account. But I think once you get to a certain point, you are going to see that it's genuinely a story where it's all about the characters on top of the story of this impending war. And I think that's kind of the mindset you need to go into this with, at least from what I can see so far, over a third of the way through it at this point. So yeah, I'm almost like 36% of the way through this, I think. Also, I decorated my Kindle last night with some stickers I had from my friends Allie and ML. And then I also have a few stickers from Acorn and Crow on here as well, but I'll showcase that in depth a little bit later. But for right now, I do have some filming I have to do, but I need to go take a shower first. Before I even do that, I need to go let Oscar outside. So I'm going to go take him potty, go take a shower, get dry. I'm going to have to wait, though, to film until my husband gets back from his interview, because we're also going to go take Oscar for a walk. And then by then, I should still have time before leaving to go to my sister's to do some filming. I only have to film 2 videos and then just take thumbnail pictures, record my podcast, stuff like that. So I think I should still have time to do all of that stuff this afternoon, but I kind of got to get started right now. And Robert should be getting back from his interview hopefully soon. I will talk to all you guys later when I get to my sister's, because I am going to be listening more to the audiobook on my drive to my sister's. It's going to be at least a 45-minute drive for me from here, if not a full hour. So I'll let you guys know later today what I end up getting through more of with The Way of Kings. And hey guys, so it's Sunday now. It is almost 1:30 in the afternoon. I am still at my sister's place. But I wanted to end this vlog here because I'm not going to really have much else to be able to update you guys on. I will say though that last night while I was doing sprints here with my sister, I got like another 100 and some pages read, like almost 120 I think, of The Way of Kings. So I'm slowly making progress through it. I'm officially halfway through the book now. Basically what's going to end up happening is that into next week I will be continuing with this, and I still have not picked up Sword of Kaigen because I decided that I wanted to really focus on getting The Way of Kings done first before jumping in fully into Sword of Kaigen, because it's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to be listening to more of it on my drive home and probably as I'm getting some stuff done. But I wanted to quickly show you guys some stuff I got today because my sister took me to a little bookstore that is out here. It's like a comic book and graphic novel store and all kinds of stuff. So I got some manga there. First of which is the first volume of Sweat and Soap by Kintetsu Yamada. This is a recommendation from, I think, either Ulysses or Jenny. She is one of the people that we meet with sprints for Brie and Brandy. Then I also got the first volume of Blue Exorcist by Kazue Kato. I've heard this is really, really good. And I also got a first volume of Eden Zero by Hiro Mashima. Also heard really good things about this. The store that I went to was out here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is called Vault of Midnight. They have 2 other locations, one in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and one in Detroit, Michigan. So super cute, very, very fun place to go to. Definitely was something that I was looking forward to with coming to visit my sister. She had wanted to come to take me there for a while, and I'm really glad we ended up going. But yeah, so that's just a little haul here at the end of this vlog. Very happy with my purchase. But I'm gonna end this vlog here. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys.